I'm Davy, and I'm awesome! And welcome to Davy's Awesome Movies, where I review the styles of movies that I love, the alternative, B-rated, cult-style flicks. And this week I am reviewing one of the most 80s movies that ever existed. This movie was made in 1986. It was directed by Hal Needham, and it was written by Sam Bernard and Jeffrey Edwards. Produced by Jack Schwartzman, Robert L. Levy, made by Talia Film 2 Productions, and distributed by TriStar Pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Davy's Awesome Movies to get rad. The movie opens with a title sequence of a bunch of BMXers doing tricks. Then we go to a few teen BMXers on a paper route. You see, kids, newspapers was how we got the news before social media came along and we just started making everything up. Then we see a committee meeting about a BMX race called Hell Track. A race that is going to bring a lot of promotion and revenue to this little town. Sure it is. With racers from all over the country. But not any local racers from that small town.
I wonder how our kids are going to feel. They're not allowed to race in their own backyard.
I don't think they care. The meeting, consisting of Duke Best, who is the head person putting on this little race, as well as some other prominent people in this town, and the mayor, decide that they are going to have a qualifier. And they'll even put up money for the qualifier.
$10,000 for...
I'd say it's cheap, but $10,000 in 1986 was actually pretty nice. Then we see the lead in this movie, Crew, played by Brad Allen, who's going to pick up his sister Wesley at school, who's having it out with a boy in her school.
You think your brother's so cool. He's nothing next to Bart Taylor.
Aw, slam! After she kicks the crap out of his shins, Crew picks her up.
Come on, let's go faster.
And takes her home to their mother.
Mom! Hi, kids!
Hey. Played by Talia Shire, who in between Rocky movies decided it was time to get rad. Crew tells his mother about the Hell Track race.
Isn't this the day you're supposed to make up your SATs?
I know, Mom.
BMX race or SATs. You know what, I would say that's an easy one, but I'm personally of the mindset that you should know what you want to do before going to college, and then finding out that you wasted your money because you didn't need college for the career you were looking at anyways.
When your gut talks to you, you listen.
Okay, you definitely lost me there. That's like the same thing as saying, oh, just follow your heart. That's all you gotta do, just follow your heart. Everybody around you, just follow your heart. People, do not follow your heart, follow your brain. Your heart is an idiot.
I bet Dad would have understood.
Yeah, well, your dad's dead. Next, we see Crew and his... crew practicing.
Sounds bad!
I could do that.
Oh no!
Okay, that I could do. Then they have a parade. Not rad. For the Hell Track racers. And it's at that point that Crew meets Christian. Played by Lori Loughlin. This was way before Full House, and also way before she became a criminal. Later that night, it turns out the town has thrown a dance for everybody. Yes, they used to do that in the 80s.
Back up, babe, and take that nerd with you. Come on, how about a little space here?
If you're right now thinking like, hey, those outfits look like something from the TV series V that used to be out in the 80s, that's because they are. No joke, they literally borrowed those outfits from V. At some point, the biggest BMX star, the one they're all banking on, Bart Taylor, starts dancing too.
Outside the world is colder every single...
And Burton Trimmer, played by Ray Walston, takes notice.
Boy, he's got it all, hasn't he? Yeah, and we got him.
Creepy. Then back to the twins, Rex and Rod. Are you two planning to share her?
Ew.
Cause you're brothers, that's disgusting. Outside, Crew is doing a bunch of tricks on his bike, so Christian decides to show what she can do. I wonder if she learned that in college. Then Crew and Christian go inside and start doing tricks in the middle of the dance floor to the 80s song Send Me an Angel by Real Life. Well, at least their stunt doubles are doing tricks. The next day, Bart Taylor goes to a little diner that is actually full. So the owner, in an effort to get him a table...
Hey, what's this? New rules.
Hey, it's bogus.
Because Bart Taylor's just so famous. Crew is still trying to get that trick down he's been practicing. So Christian comes in and gives him a little bit of advice on how to do it. Among her advice is get rid of the mattresses because he'll waste out once he lands anyway.
No guts, no glory.
No retreat, no surrender! Sorry, wrong movie. Now, Crew is ready.
You over-rotated.
Duh!
So he tries again. That's so rad! To celebrate, Christian and Crew go have a date. You know, that looks really fun, but you know what might make it even more fun? Bathing suits. You guys dried off very fast.
Where are you going to college?
Her daughter won't. Crew's issue, though, is that the day of the SATs and the qualifier to Hell Track are on the same day. And Christian tells him, you can always take the SATs and go to college a little bit later. Which, by the way, is sound advice. Rad. Crew knows that his mother is not going to sign the waiver, so he's trying to forge her signature. But he can't.
Give me the pen.
Aww. When your sister's a teenager, she's going to be on drugs. So now, we get to the first qualifier. And they're off! He didn't qualify.
Bart Taylor making quick work of Heat 1.
Gee, what a shock. Now it's Crew's turn to try to qualify. And guess who's watching?
Some of the sports bet.
Damn it, Crew.
Jones adds some down.
Now, during Crew's qualifier... Well, he's out.
Anderson will win it, and Jones is going to hold on for second.
Crew is now on to the next round. So now...
Finish in the top 3 once more, and you're in.
So here we go. This is for all the marbles.
No!
Wait, what? Oh, well, I guess he's not out. He qualified. That's so rad. But now he has to be confronted by his mother.
You defied me.
I didn't do it to hurt you.
She's mad. As she should be.
The only thing I'm good at is riding this bike.
That's really sad, dude. He explains he only had a 1 in 1,000 chance of qualifying. Which shows that he needs better work on his math because there were not 1,000 people in that race. So his mother thinks about it.
I want you to make me a promise that in 6 months you'll take those SATs no matter what.
He promises.
Mom? Thanks.
So maybe you should have just tried to explain it to her first before trying to forge her signature. The next day, Duke meets with Crew to offer him a chance to make a lot of money and become a star, so long as he'll throw the race.
You and me, we don't think the same, not at all.
Yeah, the way that Crew thinks is rad! So when Crew goes to sign up for Hell Track, he finds out that there's a new rule.
No sponsor, no racy.
So now Crew can't race! That's not rad! Later, while Crew is telling everybody at a diner, his sister Wesley comes up to him with a little gift.
I made it myself, so you can wear it when you race.
Aha! The shirt said it! And this gives Crew an idea. He can use the 10 grand he won in the qualifier and start his own company and sponsor himself.
I'd work better if you'd get off my hand.
Hey, Becky, be careful.
It's nice, but personally I'm a fan of super duper skateboards.
We don't care if you get it.
So, Crew and Christian decide to go for a ride. Seriously? Again?
You know, I don't understand it.
Well, it's pretty simple, really. If you guys would have taken a minute to actually go change into a swimsuit, you wouldn't be so cold and soaked right now.
What is hot chocolate without milk?
It's still hot chocolate. In fact, most of us don't use milk in hot chocolate. Like, seriously, didn't you learn anything in that Ivy League you were not qualified to be in?
What you thinking?
I hate when women ask things like that, because they expect me to say either something profound or expect me to say you, but in reality I'm sitting there thinking, like, if Buzz Lightyear was convinced that he wasn't a toy, then why did he freeze every time a human came around? Crew tells her that he's nervous for the race. Nothing a kiss from Rebecca can't fix. As Crew and his crew, okay, let's get something to say. He's called Crew because he's always cruising, and they're his crew, are selling shirts and making a few $100. Duke and his man come up with yet another rule of how the sponsor has to have had at least $50,000 in sales.
It is a new rule.
Hey, you come here. I'll show you the rule.
Don't!
Crew is despondent, so Christian tries to talk to him.
You know, nothing can compete with money.
Oh, she knows that. So after this, the town holds another meeting with the mayor.
Those kids worked as hard as they could.
You know, I've lived in several small towns. The kind where pretty much everybody does know each other. I don't think I've ever lived in one so small where all the adults would actually get together and hold a meeting because they're so angry about a couple of kids not being allowed to race.
I think we should take every opportunity to give a local boy a chance.
They all do. But then, Sergeant Smith gets up
I think Crew and his friends have done something special.
and lectures them all about what they all already agree about. Then we see Crew and Christian make up. Aw, vanilla. Back to the meeting. All the parents have gotten together and decided that they are going to invest, by invest I mean buy, shirts, to try to get them to $50,000 in sales so that he will qualify.
We're still $27,000 short.
You guys all spent $23,000 on shirts? That's a lot of shirts! But wouldn't you know it,
Crew Jones and his rad racing team have met the eligibility.
but how? Duke goes to Rod and Rex.
All you have to do is take out that kid.
What about Bart?
Then all you have to do is win.
Not rad. Turns out Burton bought all of the shirts.
$27,000 worth. And I'm going to keep every one of them.
What a nice guy. Crew is getting ready to race.
Crew, yeah. Sign my cast? Sure.
The reason they put this in there is because that guy with the cast is actually one of the stunt riders who actually broke his leg while performing stunts in this movie. Sergeant Smith has some advice for Crew.
Go balls out.
And if they had decided to go with the original title on the script for this film, this is the moment I would be going, he said it! Because the original title was not Rad, it was Balls Out. I prefer Rad. Now it's about time for the race to start.
More than cash that challenges these racers at the brink of this 25-foot wall.
The reason it's 25 feet is because they actually had to lower the wall. Because none of the BMX riders were willing to go down the original wall that they had built because it was too high. So production was halted until they lowered it to 25 feet. After they announced everyone,
Crew's my buddy.
buddy or not, get your own friggin' popcorn. Now, they start! This whole Hell Track race took 2 weeks to film. They didn't expect it to take that long, but even these professional BMX riders that were doing the stunts couldn't get around it in one lap. Which just shows that the makers of this movie knew nothing about BMX riding.
Crew Jones, number 33, has taken an unexpected lead over Mark.
To those of us watching, it wasn't unexpected. Well, that's definitely one way to get some product placement into this movie. But now it's all smooth sailing for Crew. Get up! Oh my god, what will we do if you don't get up?
Jones, he's regaining his feet.
Red! Crew is getting back into it.
Oh my heart, a backflip! Hulk Hogan, eat your heart out!
Hulk Hogan didn't ride BMX bikes, he was a wrestler. And he never ever did a backflip. At some point, Bart Taylor stops his commanding lead.
Here is Taylor stopping. He wants Crew Jones one-on-one.
Because he wants to beat Crew fair and square. Because he's rad!
Taylor outside, Jones goes into first.
Stupid, but rad!
Give it
not happy with Bart.
You'll know you'll never work again.
Nah, most BMX racers don't actually have a very long career. And then the money for most of them isn't that great. Only if you're like super famous, like Dave Mirra or something. Plus, if he's really that good to where they've been advertising him this much, then the second other companies hear about his sponsors going through, they'll be jumping at the chance to grab him, so whatever.
Good race, man. Yeah, it was, thanks.
He's so rad.
Think we got room on the rad team?
Well, maybe.
Team.
So there you have it. That's the cult hit from the 80s that is embodying almost everything 80s in it. Rad! This movie only had a $3 million budget and only did $2 million in the box office, but with its cult following, I'm sure it made up the other million very quickly. As far as how this movie is, okay, let's be honest. It's kind of cheesy, it's kind of dorky, but it's nostalgic cheesy and dorky. At the time it came out, not really. It was the 80s. They said things like this. They acted like this. I will say, even in the 80s, I don't think BMX racing was as big as they were making it out in this movie. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not slamming the BMX community, but let's face it, it's extremely niche, and especially in the 80s, it was even more niche. It wasn't like you were going to be world famous in the 80s for being a BMX rider. However, it is just a classic tale of an athlete wanting to achieve his dreams and stars that are so out of reach, and finally doing it, and it's a feel-good movie, and it's fun. So to anybody looking to go check out Rad, I would just say take it for what it is. Remember it was made in the 80s, and shut up with your harsh criticism, because this movie is a movie I highly recommend. It is a movie that's very fun, and it's, well, just rad. So there you have it. That's my review this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post the videos, and leave a comment. And if you leave a comment, make sure that that comment is rad! Love you guys.